हेलो डियर स्टूडेंट्स, वेरी गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। बेटा कैसे हैं आप सभी लोग? होप यू आर एंजॉइंग। चलिए, सो फ्रॉम टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट अ न्यू चैप्टर, चैप्टर नंबर 9, स्ट्रेटेजिक एनालिसिस ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग इनकम। हाउ मेनी स्टूडेंट्स आर ऑनलाइन? बेटा अ वेरी गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ देम। Shivani, good evening, beta. Rashmi Kamath, good evening. Rashmi, beta, I think you have missed 2 or 3 lectures previous because no answer has been received by me in the previous 2 or 3 lectures. Rashmi, cover it from the recorded session, beta. Na? It's very important because transfer pricing chapter, surety that 9 out of 10 times a question will be there from the chapter transfer pricing. Jyoti Kakkar, good evening, beta. How many students are online? Please record your presence through a good evening. Shri beta. For this chapter, chapter number 9, is basically a practical chapter. Okay. Sandhya, good evening, beta. Okay, Rashmi, very good, beta. Seema Suresh, good evening. So basically, this chapter number 9, strategic analysis of operating income, is a practical chapter with few of the topic, hardly 5 to 7% of the content are theoretical in nature. Okay. Regarding activity-based budgeting and activity-based management, ABM is somewhat theoretical topic. Rest of the topic are 100% practical topic. Okay. What we will study in this particular chapter, first of all, communicate to me, beta, how many students are comfortable with the concept activity-based costing? How many students are very much comfortable with activity-based costing? In case you know the concept but you are not confident, please provide me the degree of your confidence in that particular chapter. Because if you know well the activity-based costing, we can start the advanced version of activity-based costing, that is customer profitability analysis and direct product profitability. In case you are not comfortable with activity-based costing, definitely we will start from the basic of ABC and then we will move towards the advanced concept of activity-based costing in the form of customer profitability statement and direct product profitability. Pradeep ji, good evening. Shijesh, good evening, beta. Okay, Seema Suresh and Joki Kakkar are comfortable with the topic activity-based costing. What about other student, beta? Shivani, Rashmi, Sandhya, Pradeep, Shijesh. What's about the level of activity-based costing, beta? Okay, Shivani has said for her have an idea about that way back in CA Inter. Rashmi, better we start with basic, sir. Okay. Seema Suresh, we done back in 2017, but she is comfortable. Okay. Sudhir ji, good evening, beta. Shijesh, good evening. So I think majority of the students are comfortable with that particular topic, activity-based costing. While 2 or 3 students wants to start with the basic of activity-based costing, because some have studied in CA Inter. After that, they are not in touch with the topic activity-based costing. Okay. So in the initial 20-30 minute beta, we will deal with the activity-based costing because some 50-60% student demands that they know only the basic. Sandhya only know the concept but not advanced version of the activity-based costing. So it's better to keep all the students in touch with us this topic. So let's start with the basic of activity-based costing in the initial 20 minutes, and then we will straightforward move to the content of this chapter, particularly the customer profitability statement and the direct product profitability. Okay. Mr. Sudhir is not comfortable with activity-based costing. Okay, Sudhir beta. So let's start with the basic beta. Those who student already know this topic, it will be a revision from them so that they can feel more comfortable about this topic. So please give the heading beta. Basic of activity-based costing. First of all, give the chapter heading. Chapter number 9. Chapter number 9, strategic analysis of operating income. Strategic analysis of operating income. Okay, so I'm starting with the basic of activity-based costing, although a direct question cannot be asked at CA final level from the topic activity-based costing, but the knowledge of it is equally important to solve the question on customer profitability analysis, direct product profitability, and the topic activity-based management and activity-based budgeting. So this complete chapter revolves around the basic concept activity-based costing, है ना? तो चलिए बेटा start करते हैं with the basic. Activity-based costing. So first of all, communicate to me, beta, those who know this topic somewhat way back in CA Inter, whether this activity-based costing is a technique for cost or whether it's a technique for indirect cost. Activity-based costing is the technique for direct and indirect cost, that is the total cost, or it is a technique for indirect cost. In the initial period, beta, we are discussing, so the question and answer round will be there. Okay, so you have to be very participative in the discussion part. Whether activity-based costing is a technique for cost, direct and indirect, or it is a technique for indirect cost. Seema, Suresh, beta, Jyoti, Kakkar, please communicate. What's your view? Whether this technique is for cost, direct and indirect, or it's only for indirect cost. Okay, Shrivani has said it's for indirect cost. Mr. Sudhir has said it's for direct and indirect cost. Seema, Suresh, and Jyoti, beta, what's your view about this one? Shijay, Sandhya, please communicate your view. Whether activity-based costing is for both the cost, direct and indirect, or only and only for the indirect cost. Okay, Shijesh has answered indirect cost. Pradeep has answered both direct and indirect cost. Okay, beta. So this is a technique exclusively for recovery of indirect cost. Activity-based costing doesn't deal the direct element. It's a technique only and only for the indirect cost. No, only and only for the indirect cost. So first, write down, beta. It's a modern approach. It's a modern approach for recovery of overhead. It's a modern approach for recovery of overhead. Okay, beta. So cost will be bifurcated into two parts. Direct and indirect. and for indirect cost, it will be bifurcated further into two parts. Traditional approach, indirect cost recovery. Okay, and the next one is modern approach. Okay, and in modern approach, we will bifurcate into three parts. Recovery of factory overhead, admin overhead, and selling and distribution overhead. For factory overhead, the technique is known as activity-based costing. For selling and distribution overhead, the technique is known as customer profitability analysis. तो देखिए बेटा, ये पूरा इसका डायग्रामेटिकल प्रेजेंटेशन है. तो हम अभी बात कर रहे हैं whenever we have to recover the factory overhead based on modern approach of recovery of indirect cost, when we have to recover factory overhead under modern approach, that is इसको logical भी आप बोल सकते हो बेटा. This approach is also called as logical approach. Whenever we are recovering the factory overhead under logical method for recovery of indirect cost, the technique is known as activity based costing. And once you are comfortable with the technique activity based costing, it will be very easy for you to go for customer profitability analysis, because in customer profitability analysis we recover the selling and distribution overhead under modern approach of indirect cost. यहां पर सिर्फ हम selling and distribution overhead recover करेंगे. And in activity based costing, basically it's the technique to recover the factory overhead, whether it's a variable overhead, whether it's a fixed overhead. So one thing is confirmed बेटा. तो traditional approach क्या होती है सर? फिर then what is the traditional approach? You have heard about the concept blanket recovery rate, multiple recovery rate. There are total 7 type of bases that are used under traditional method for recovery of overhead. But over the time, as the overhead assume more and more significance as compared to the direct cost, there are many new components, many new elements in the organization regarding the indirect cost. So this traditional method is not suitable to recover the modern expenses of the overhead. Therefore, a logical method is needed, which on the basis of logic can recover the factory overhead product wise. Okay, बड़े बेटा आगे लिख दिया आपने ये सब. सर एडमिन ओवरहेड के लिए कौन सी मेथड है? राइट नाउ देयर इज नो मेथड अवेलेबल नाइदर इन आवर सिलेबस नॉर इन द चार्टर्ड इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटेंट, लंदन की जो बॉडी है जिसको CIMA एब्रिवेटेड नाम है. कोई भी टेक्निक आज तक नहीं निकली है टू लॉजिकली रिकवर द एडमिन ओवरहेड. देयरफॉर admin overhead are by default recovered on the basis of units of production. Admin overhead are by default recovered using the units of production. तो अभी हम स्टार्ट करते हैं बेटा एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग. तो इतना तो आपको क्लियर हो चुका है कि एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग इज अ मॉडर्न अप्रोच for recovery of overhead. It's a modern approach for recovery of overhead. My next question to you is whether budgeted overhead can be recovered from the customer or actual overhead can be recovered from the customer. Whether budgeted overhead can be recovered or actual overhead can be recovered from the customer. Please communicate me with logic, beta. I require the logic along with the answer, whether budgeted overhead or actual overhead, which can be recovered from the customer along with the logic. Okay, Shrivani has straightforward answer for its budgeted overhead. Okay. What about other student beta? Which overhead can be recovered from the customer, whether budgeted overhead or actual overhead, or it depends? Or it depends. Very good, Shivani. The logic is also correct, beta. Very good. What about other student? Jyoti, Sandhya, Divedi, Pradeep, Shijesh, Sudhir. Please communicate your answer, beta. Rashmi. Which overhead can be recovered from the customer? All these are the basics that are required to get conceptual clarity in this particular topic, beta. That's why I'm asking you the basic of activity-based costing. Only and only budgeted overhead can be recovered from the customer. It's not possible for anyone in the world to recover the actual overhead from the customer. Hana? Please write down, beta. Only and only budgeted overhead can be recovered from the customer. Only and only budgeted overhead can be recovered from the customer, comma, there is no exception to this rule. There is no exception to this rule. Now, the question is for why actual overhead cannot be recovered from the customer. The logic is very simple, beta. This is the start of the year. This is the end of the year. We know the budgeted overhead at the start of the year, while the actual overhead will be known only at the end of the year, and practically also not at the end of the year, but in the next first quarter of the year. 22-23 agar financial year hai, so we will be able to know the actual fixed overhead in the month of April and May 2023 for the financial year 21-22. है ना? तो यही लॉजिक है बेटा. तो budgeted overhead we know at the start of the year. Actual overhead we know only and only at the end of the year. Now, very, very important point, beta. Please listen very carefully. Before the customer arrives, we have to communicate the sale price. We have to calculate the sale price, because as soon as customer arrives, you have to communicate the customer the sale price of the product or services. That sale price contains cost and profit. Cost consists of two costs, direct cost and indirect cost. So at the time when you are selling your product, the only overhead available with the organization is the budgeted overhead, their actual overhead is not available at the point whenever you are selling your goods. So ये organization की मजबूरी है कि उसे सिर्फ और सिर्फ कस्टमर से बजटेड ओवरहेड ही रिकवर करना पड़ता है. And therefore there is a concept, and you already aware of that concept, beta, under recovery and over recovery of overhead. Because whatever you are recovering is the budgeted, while each month you are paying the actual overhead. So recovery inflow is the budgeted, outflow is the actual. So there must be a difference, which can be the under recovery of overhead, which can be the over recovery of overhead. है ना? So कोई exception नहीं है इस rule का कि only and only budgeted overhead can be recovered from the customer. Actual overhead cannot be recovered from the customer. ओके, बड़े बेटा आगे चलिए देखिए. Now there are some terminologies. That are being used in activity based costing. So please give the heading terminologies used in activity based costing. Activity cost pull, activity cost driver, and ABC recovery rate. Can you please define the word beta activity? The question I am asking because each and every student is comfortable more or less in this particular topic. So I want to discuss this topic with you. Can you please tell me beta, what do you mean by activity in activity based costing? Because we will find out the recovery rate activity wise. So first of all, we have to define what do you mean by activity. I'm waiting for your answer beta. Please communicate. What do you mean by activity in activity based costing? Okay, as per Shrivani, job oblique process. No, beta, that's not the meaning of activity. No, Fima Suresh, beta, not the correct meaning of an activity. Sudhir, no, beta, task is not an activity. Okay, tell me a simple, answer me a simple question. Whether department and activities are same? Whether the terminology department and activity are same? No, Rashmi, that's not the meaning of activity, beta. Because in that case, only and only the production activities will be covered in the activity, while even the selling and distribution activity, selling and distribution function are also bifurcated into different activities. Department and activities are not same. In the traditional method, the drawback of the traditional method leads to the emergence of activity-based costing. I'm repeating, the drawback of traditional method leads to the emergence of activity-based costing, And in traditional method, we use the concept departmental recovery rate. We find out recovery rate for a whole department and charge the product accordingly. Now, the inventor of this concept, activity-based costing, Robert Kaplan and David Norton, have communicated that in a mid-size organization, the whole overhead should be bifurcated into minimum 45 to 50 activities. Minimum 45 to 50 activities in a mid-size organization. Because when you grow up from the traditional method, the biggest disadvantage traditional method is having, they are calculating either the factory rate or the departmental rate, which is not justified in the modern area. Thus, the inventor of this particular concept, activity-based costing, Robert Kaplan and David Norton, have recommended that in a mid-size organization, there should be 45 to 50 activities. And for each and every activity, we will find out a recovery rate. So in a mid-size organization, whenever the activity-based costing is implemented, then minimum 45 to 50 recovery rate is to be found out. I will give an example that will provide more clarity. What do you mean by activity? Suppose this is a store. Okay. In the store, there are two functions, raw material and finished goods. So store is known as department. Store is known as department. In the traditional method, we find out recovery rate for store department. But in modern method, that is activity-based costing, we will not find out the recovery rate for department. In fact, we will bifurcate the department into multiple parts, and each part is then known as activity, for which a separate recovery rate is to be found out. So store contains two types of goods. The first one is raw material. The second one is finished goods. Further, the raw material will be bifurcated into two parts: receipt of raw material, issue of raw material. Similarly, the finished goods will be bifurcated into two parts also: receipt of finished goods, and dispatch of finished goods. Okay. Now, the author David Kaplan and Norton have recommended that you should not find out the recovery rate department wise. आपको store के लिए find out नहीं करना है. You should bifurcate your store into different function. By bifurcating the store into different function, we came out 4 function: receipt of raw material, issue of raw material, receipt of finished goods, dispatch of finished goods. So each and every function of this store is known as activity. So this is activity number 1. This is activity number 2. This is activity number 3. And this is activity number 4. So a smaller group for which a separate recovery rate, overhead recovery rate, is to be found out, so that the overhead can be logically charged to the product, is known as activity. Okay, I will give you another example related to activity. This is another example. Suppose this is machining department. Suppose this is machining department. ये machining department है. Now, what will happen? Earlier, we find out the recovery rate only for the machining department as a whole. Okay. Now, according to David Kaplan and Norton, there must be 2, 3, 4, 5 activities in a single department. So the department will be bifurcated according to the function wise. So the first can be the setup function, machine setup. We already discussed what do you mean by machine setup, beta. Please communicate to me. the meaning of machine setup. What do you know by machine setup? What do you mean by machine setup? Beta, please communicate to me. Okay, beta. Shivani, Seema Suresh, correct answer, beta. Machine setup means when we complete a batch of production before the next batch start. Whenever we complete a batch of production, before the next batch start, whatever necessary formalities are to be done in the machine, that is known as setup. That is known as setup. Okay, so machine setup, getting it ready for next batch, getting it ready for next batch of production is known as machine setup. So the department, machining department, can be further bifurcated into different functions. The first function can be the setup. The second one can be the machine operation, in which the machine is running. Okay, so this is activity number 5. This is activity number 6. So each and every department, the whole complete factory will be divided into different group, and each group, for each group, we will find out a separate recovery rate so that the product which consume the services of that activity should only recover the overhead of that activity. देखिए बेटा लॉजिक बहुत सिंपल है. Suppose there are two products, product A and product B. Okay, units per batch 200 and 1000. So what happens if we do not recover overhead on the basis of activity? The problem is that since both the product have consumed the machining activity, normally the overhead will be bifurcated between 200 if to 1000 ratio of the machining department, but that is illogical. The setup, 200 units are produced in a batch while 1000 units are produced in a batch. Suppose 1000 units of both the product has been produced during the day. आज particular day में on 20th of December 1000 units of both the product has been produced, but when we go through department, we think that 1000 units of A has been produced, 1000 units of B has been produced, so we charge equal amount of overhead to both the product, but that is illogical. Now, due to bifurcation of machine department into different activity, how it benefit? It will now consider, okay, your 1000 unit have been manufactured in a single batch, 200 units have been produced, so you have consumed 5 number of setup to produce 1000 unit, while product B has consumed only 1 setup to produce 1000 unit. So therefore, the total cost of the today's setup will be bifurcated between A and B in the ratio of 5 setup and 1 setup. This is the benefit of bifurcating the overhead, factory wise and then department wise, and then department maybe function wise, so that even we can track minute overhead so that the overhead can be recovered logically from the product. Okay, now what do you mean by activity cost pull? What do you mean by activity cost pull? The answer is very simple, beta. Pull means collection of indirect cost. Collection of indirect cost of that activity is known as activity cost pull. Simple हिंदी में अगर बोला जाए बेटा, एक्टिविटी का खर्चा, overhead cost of that particular activity is known as activity cost pull. कुछ भी टेक्निकल नहीं है, बहुत ही सिंपल है. जो उस एक्टिविटी का खर्चा है, that is known as activity cost pull. Okay, suppose machine setup का total खर्चा हमारा 2 लाख रुपए है. So 2 lakh rupee is the activity cost pull of setup activity. ठीक है. Now the third point is activity cost driver. Now I am asking to you, beta, What do you mean by cost driver? Please communicate to me. What do you mean by cost driver? Measurement unit of that cost. No बेटा. Yes, Seema Suresh, correct answer है बेटा आपका. That factor which drives the cost of that activity is known as activity cost driver. Once again beta, the factor which is driving the cost pull of a particular activity is known as activity cost driver. अगर वह अपनी स्पीड बढ़ाएगा then definitely it will have impact on the cost pull of that particular activity. If you don't want to go technically, simply it means logical base. बस इतना भी अगर ये दो वर्ड भी आपको याद है ना बेटा, then you can solve each and every question of activity based costing regarding the concept activity cost driver. So activity cost driver is nothing but the logical base. लिखो बेटा, इसको लिखो, कहीं ना कहीं आप लिखिए एक्टिविटी कॉस्ट ड्राइवर का सिंपल मतलब लॉजिकल बेस होता है. Activity cost driver simply means logical base. ओके बेटा, तो बड़े आगे. जैसे सेटअप का लॉजिकल बेस है नंबर ऑफ सेटअप. मशीन ऑपरेशन का एक्टिविटी कॉस्ट ड्राइवर दैट इज लॉजिकल बेस है मशीन आवर्स. इश्यू ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल का लॉजिकल बेस है MRN, नंबर ऑफ MRN, मटेरियल रिक्विजिशन नोट, है ना. रिसिप्ट ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल का लॉजिकल बेस है परचेज ऑर्डर, नंबर ऑफ PO. सो हर एक एक्टिविटी का जो लॉजिकल बेस है, that logical base is known as activity cost driver, है ना. ABC recovery rate. What is ABC recovery rate? The recovery rate through which we will recover the overhead of a particular activity is known as activity based costing recovery rate, है ना. लिखिए बेटा, minimum working notes इन एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग क्वेश्चन. मतलब ये वर्किंग नोट तो बनेंगे ही बनेंगे. वॉट एवर द क्वेश्चन लेवल ऑफ एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग इज, दिस टू वर्किंग नोट विल डेफिनेटली फॉर्म पार्ट ऑफ योर आंसर वॉट एवर द लेवल ऑफ क्वेश्चन ऑफ ABC इज, है ना. सो लिखिए बेटा नेक्स्ट लाइन में वर्किंग नोट नंबर 1. वर्किंग नोट नंबर 1, it is computation of ABC recovery rate. There are minimum and maximum 5 columns to find out the ABC recovery rate, है ना. Minimum and maximum. So whenever you have to compute the ABC recovery rate, this is the format beta. In the first column, we will write down the activity. In the second column, we will write down the cost pull. In the third column, we will write down the cost driver. Fourth column, quantity of cost driver. And the last one is ABC recovery rate. So there is a fixed format related to computation of ABC recovery rate, and the statement will be having minimum and maximum 5 columns, है ना. Working note number 2, factory overhead, product wise. Write down the meaning of it, beta. I will communicate in both the language, English as well as in Hindi. First of all, write down in Hindi language, beta. क्या मतलब है इस वर्किंग नोट 2 का, एंड देन आई विल कम्युनिकेट द सेम इन इंग्लिश. लिखिए बेटा. किन किन प्रोडक्ट्स ने, व्हाट डू मीन बाय फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड प्रोडक्ट वाइज, किन किन प्रोडक्ट्स ने किन किन एक्टिविटीज को, किन किन प्रोडक्ट ने किन किन एक्टिविटीज को कितना कितना कंज्यूम किया है, किन किन प्रोडक्ट्स ने किन किन एक्टिविटीज को कितना कितना कंज्यूम किया है, कॉमा, उसका टोटल बिलिंग अमाउंट, उसका टोटल बिलिंग अमाउंट. Now please write down in English, beta. It's the total billing amount product wise. It's the total billing amount product wise based on the services consumed, based on the activities services consumed by each product, based on the activities services consumed by each product. So the logic is, जिस प्रोडक्ट ने ज्यादा सर्विसेज कंज्यूम किया है, they are bearing a higher proportion of overhead. The product who has consumed less amount of services of a particular activity, definitely the overhead recovery will be lower. As in our example, product A has made 5 setup to produce 1000 units, while product B has consumed 1 setup. Since product B has consumed less amount of services, he will recover less amount of overhead of setup, while product A will recover more amount as it has consumed the services in higher quantity. Clear, beta? So this is all about the basic activity based costing. Technically activity based costing से हमें फायदा क्या है? Can you please tell me, beta, what's the benefit by activity based costing? It's true that we will recover the overhead logically, undoubtedly. The biggest benefit of activity based costing is we will recover the overhead logically. But apart from that, can you please provide me the benefit of activity based costing over the traditional method? क्या बेनिफिट है बेटा? बेनिफिट नहीं होता तो इतना ज्यादा पॉपुलर नहीं होता ना एक्टिविटी बेस्ड कॉस्टिंग. सो व्हाट्स द बेनिफिट? ओके बेटा, वो तो आ गया लॉजिकल रिकवरी में. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट बेटा, देखिए बेटा, आई विल टेल यू द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट बेनिफिट of this logical recovery of overhead. You know, please tell me beta, whether we are the price setter or the price taker in this today's competitive environment. Whether we are the price taker or price setter in this competitive environment. I think we have discussed multiple times this concept, price taker or price setter. No beta, Suma Fresh, that's not the benefit. That is the benefit of activity based management. That's not the benefit of activity based budgeting beta. Okay beta, definitely we are the price taker. That is whatever price is prevalent in the market, we have to follow that one. Okay, so suppose we are taking the product of Maruti, Alto and Swift. Okay, For fail price, important thing, if determined by market or determined by us, determined by market. ये मार्केट ने डिटरमाइन किया है, ठीक है। तो मान के चलिए मार्केट हैव डिटरमाइंड दैट द ऑल्टो प्राइस विल बी ₹3 lakh and the Swift price ₹6,90,000. This price has not been decided by us based on cost of ours and the profit. This price has been determined by the market. There is no reference to whatever cost we are incurring to the sale price. Now we will deduct the cost. We will deduct the direct cost and indirect cost, and after that we will arrive at the profit element. Okay beta, so direct cost में तो कभी कोई problem नहीं है, they are easily identifiable with the product. Now listen very carefully beta. If the indirect cost is illogically calculated, then the profit shown is also the illogical one. Based on the profit, what we are deciding? Based on the profit, we are deciding our winner product and loser product. Loser product doesn't mean that it is providing a loss. Loser product means they are taking more services, but the benefit provided by them is comparatively less. So based on the profit, we are finding out who is the true winner and who is the true loser. So if overhead are wrongly charged, so definitely the profit calculation will be wrong. If profit calculation will be wrong, then definitely our strategic decision of deciding who is our winner and who is our loser gone, and whatever product will be the winner, we will make more R&D on that. We will advertise that product more as compared to other product, and then later on after 2 or 3 years, if you came to know that the profit has been calculated illogically because of the illogical recovery of overhead, जब तक बेटा आपके हाथ से उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट का मार्केट शेयर जा चुका होगा, gone are the market share. So in this competitive world, you cannot take a risk to decide your winner or your loser, because if that went wrong and you will be able to know after some period of time, तब then it will be too late. बहुत देरी हो चुकी होगी, और इन दिस कॉम्पिटिटिव वर्ल्ड उस गैप को, उस मार्केट शेयर को आपके कॉम्पिटिटर ने ऑलरेडी फिल कर दिया होगा. सो बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है लॉजिकल रिकवरी ऑफ ओवरहेड, सो दैट द प्रॉफिट कैन बी लॉजिकली कंप्यूटेड, बेस्ड ऑन विच वी कैन डिसाइड आवर ट्रू विनर एंड ट्रू लूजर ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट. ठीक है बेटा? एनी डाउट इन दिस कंसेप्ट ऑफ एबीसी बेटा? यू कैन आस्क मी. Any doubt beta in activity based costing? Waiting beta. Any doubt in activity based costing? Okay, no doubt. चलिए अब अपन बढ़ सकते हैं ऑन द कंसेप्ट कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी एनालिसिस. Activity based costing question is not directly available in our syllabus. It's the syllabus of fee inter, but the basic of that is equally applicable in this complete chapter, chapter number 9, strategic analysis of operating income. Now I'm starting customer profitability analysis. Okay, चलिए स्टार्ट करें बेटा. हेडिंग दीजिए आप, कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी एनालिसिस. Just as you find your true winner product and your loser product, in the similar way, you will find out who is your true winner customer and true loser customer based on the services consumed by them, whether they are providing enough profit to the organization or not. We will check through customer profitability analysis. Okay बेटा, पहले कुछ बेसिक कंसेप्ट है, लेट्स डिस्कस दोस कंसेप्ट. सो कंसेप्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 1, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के पास अगर 2 प्रोडक्ट है, सो देयर विल बी 2 सेपरेट कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी स्टेटमेंट. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के पास अगर 10 प्रोडक्ट है, so there will be separate customer profitability statement of those 10 products. बोलने का मतलब ये है, we cannot compare the profitability of a customer who is purchasing product A with a customer who is purchasing product B. Profit comparison of customer can be there only and only when both the customer are purchasing the same product. If the customer are purchasing different product of our organization, we cannot compare those customer because the product is different. So to make the data comparable, we are preparing the customer profitability statement product wise. If there are 2 products, we will prepare customer profitability statement twice. So that whenever we are preparing, suppose for product A, we are preparing the customer profitability analysis that which are the customer who are purchasing product A from our company, and based on that we will decide which customer is a true winner and true loser in our organization related to product A. तो लिखिए बेटा, separate customer profitability analysis can be done. Separate customer profitability analysis will be done for customers of different product. For customers of different product. That is, if we are having, next line में लिखिए बेटा, that is, if we are having product A and product B, product A and product B, comma, we will be preparing 2 separate customer profitability statement. We will be preparing 2 separate customer profitability statement. That is, one for the customers of product A, one for the customers of product A, and the other for customers of product B, and the other for the customers of product B. Now second point, whether prime cost and production overhead, important, per unit will remain same for different customer. Will prime cost, PC means prime cost, and production overhead per unit will remain same for different customer. Yes along with the logic, no along with the logic. Yes or no का जवाब दीजिए बेटा, along with the logic. Okay, according to Shrivani, yes, but the logic is not correct, beta Shrivani, but the logic is not correct. Answer is correct. The logic is very simple, beta. First of all, the answer yes, the prime cost and the production overhead in per unit will remain same for each customer, because all the customer under the customer profitability statement are purchasing the same product, है ना. हमने पहले ही बोला है, अगर हमारे पास दो प्रोडक्ट है, प्रोडक्ट ए एंड प्रोडक्ट बी, वी विल प्रिपेयर सेपरेट कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी स्टेटमेंट फॉर द कस्टमर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट ए एंड फॉर द कस्टमर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट बी. सो अगर हम कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी स्टेटमेंट बना रहे हैं तो ये बात कंफर्म है, whatever may be the customer, all the customer are purchasing the same product in that customer profitability statement. If all the customer are purchasing the same product in that customer profitability statement, the prime cost and the production overhead will remain same on per unit basis, है ना. That's why I have written the per unit through red pen, because that is important. In totality it can be different based on the number of units purchase, but on per unit it will remain same. Now very important point, beta, please listen very carefully. Customer profitability statement deals with only and only the logical recovery of selling and distribution overhead. हमने एक चार्ट भी बनाया था, देखिए बेटा ये वाला. Customer profitability statement deals with the logical recovery of only selling and distribution overhead. फिर परफेक्ट सेलिंग और डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ओवरहेड की लॉजिकल रिकवरी के लिए वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग द कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी स्टेटमेंट. ओके, राइट डाउन बेटा, लिखिए इसमें यस, आंसर में लिखिए यस. सिंस ऑल द कस्टमर इन अ कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी स्टेटमेंट, सिंस ऑल द कस्टमर in the customer profitability statement is purchasing the same product, comma, the prime cost and the production overhead, will remain same. फुल स्टॉप. नेक्स्ट लाइन में लिखे कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी स्टेटमेंट is basically the method, customer profitability statement is basically the method for logical recovery of selling and distribution overhead. Selling and distribution overhead. क्लियर हुआ बेटा आपको ये पॉइंट? बढ़ूं अब मैं आगे. सो ये जो कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी एनालिसिस है, it is only and only for the selling and distribution overhead. Okay, now we will discuss a practical real life example. Suppose you are having a bank account in HDFC Bank. Okay, customer A and there is customer B. Customer A is having the saving account and customer B is having the current account in the bank, so profit per account, suppose per account per annum, in this case is 640 rupee, suppose, while customer B is providing us a profit of only 280 per account per annum basis. Can you tell me why there is a difference between the profit of customer A and customer B that we will analyze in this particular customer profitability statement? Why there is a difference whether the services consumed by customer A and services consumed by customer B are of different volume? That's why there is a difference between the profit per account per annum of different customers. Please communicate, beta. Very good, Shrivani. Rightly pointed out, beta. Very good. Keep it up. Other student, beta, communicate fast. Seema, Suresh, Jyoti, Geeta Patel, Divedi, Sudhir, Sandhya. Please communicate fast, beta. What's your view? Okay, Geeta Patel, beta, rightly pointed out by you. Seema, Suresh, okay, beta. Other student, beta, please communicate fast. What's your view? Why there is a difference in account whether services consumed by one of the customer is higher as compared to the other? Okay, beta. Congratulations to the majority of the student. They have rightly pointed it out. There cannot be any comparison between these two customers. इन दो कस्टमर के बीच में कंपैरिजन हो ही नहीं सकता है. Why there cannot be any comparison? Because customer A is having the saving product while customer B is having the current account product. अगर प्रोडक्ट अलग अलग है, so there cannot be any comparison of customer profitability. Customer profitability में comparison तभी हो पाएगा when the product is same and based on different customer of the same product we will make a difference. है ना? तो ये डिटेल कंपेरेबल ही नहीं है. आई एम वेरी ग्लैड दैट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट हैव राइटली पॉइंटेड इट आउट दैट देयरफॉर कैन नॉट बी एनी कंपैरिजन बिकॉज द प्रोडक्ट आर ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट. है ना? अब कंपैरिजन कैसे होगा जरा ध्यान दीजिए. मान के चलिए कस्टमर बी भी हमारा सेविंग अकाउंट वाला कस्टमर है. So now tell me, beta, minimum three reasons why the profit per account from the same product, saving account here, but the customer are different. Why there is a difference between profit per account from the viewpoint of HDFC Bank? I require minimum three reasons. है ना? आप इमेजिन कीजिए बेटा, बैंक को दोनों ही कस्टमर के पास सेविंग अकाउंट है, फिर भी उनके द्वारा जो प्रॉफिट पर अकाउंट है वो अलग अलग क्यों आ रहा है. आई एम वेटिंग फॉर योर आंसर्स बेटा. प्लीज कम्युनिकेट टू मी. Tell me the three reasons combinedly, beta, na? Why there is a difference in the profit related to the services consumed by them. Related to the services consumed by them. Sandhya, you have to name the facilities, beta, na? That's the question of customer profitability statement, that different customers are consuming different amount of services. You have to name one by one that for due to this difference in services taken by each customer, there can be difference in the profit earned by the bank from the same account. No, beta, because of amount deposited in the bank is not the services consumed by the customer. In customer profitability statement, we are talking about services consumed by customer. Since the services consumed by customer B is high, therefore profit per account is low. We are talking in that matter, beta. We are not talking about the bank balance. अगर उसका ज्यादा है तो interest हमने ज्यादा earn किया. No, no, no. We are not talking in that area. We are talking about the services consumed by the customer of the same product. देखिए बेटा, यहां पे ये बात क्लियर है आपको. पहले तो हम अमाउंट डिपॉजिट बैलेंस इन द बैंक अकाउंट की हम बात नहीं कर रहे, बिकॉज वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द सर्विसेज कंज्यूम बाय देम. तो देखिए, एक कस्टमर है, हो सकता है वो विड्रॉल के लिए भी बैंक जाता हो, एंड द अदर कस्टमर इज मेकिंग विड्रॉल थ्रू एटीएम. फ्रॉम द बैंक परस्पेक्टिव, which customer is a cheaper option? To whom services will be the cheaper option? Definitely the customer who is using the ATM services is consuming less amount of overhead, because if the same consumer comes in the branch, then definitely we have to establish a branch. We have to put the staff on payroll. Electricity का खर्चा आएगा, maintenance का खर्चा आएगा. So there are n number of costs associated with the branch. So agar if more and more customer are using the ATM for withdrawal of money, then definitely the workload on the cash department is comparatively less. तो हमारा एक ही काउंटर से काम चल जाएगा, small branch area से भी हमारा काम चल जाएगा. Similarly, another customer is coming to the bank for deposit of cash, while other customer is using the ATM for deposit of cash. This can be the reason. Third point, whenever third party transaction is to be done, the first customer may require the checkbook facility. It present the check to the other person so that the transfer can be done to the clearing mechanism, check clearing mechanism. उस पे हमारा भी अपना internally बैंक का staff लगेगा. And the other customer, whenever he wants to do a transfer, he is doing the IMPS, he is doing the net banking, RTGS. So comparatively overhead will be less in case of net banking facility. Another type of services that has been taken by a customer is the request for statement, bank statement from the branch. Due to that, we have to put a computer, a staff there, a printer, and the paper cost we are incurring, while the other customer who is using the net banking facility downloads the bank statement from the net banking itself. Therefore, he doesn't request the branch for the hard copy of the statement. And I think, beta, you have not visited the branch since long. Whenever you want to withdraw, you go to the ATM. Whenever you want to deposit the cash, you deposit the cash through ATM. Whenever you want a bank statement, you withdraw from the net banking facility. Whenever you have to do a transfer, you will pay Google Pay and all kind of services. So banks are very happy to offer new bank account to a student, young student, because they know they will use more and more technology, so they will visit less in the branch, so therefore our resources can be reduced. So bank wants to know who will be the true winner, who will be the true loser. Although each and every customer is providing us the profit, but whenever we have the opportunity to provide more services, definitely we select the category of customer A so that the profitability of customer A can be increased multifold. This customer is also important, but priority wise, we will give more priority to customer A because he is consuming less amount of services and providing us the more benefit For customer profitability statement, it's all about the logical recovery of selling and distribution overhead. ओवरहेड नहीं बोला बेटा, कौन सा ओवरहेड बोला मैंने? सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ओवरहेड. क्लियर है? तो चलिए बेटा, कुछ कंटेंट आपको स्टडी मटेरियल में दिया है. लेट्स रीड आउट दैट कंटेंट ऑन योर ओन एंड देन वी विल मूव टुवर्ड्स द प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चंस ऑन कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी स्टेटमेंट. एक बार बेटा ये पेज नंबर आप निकालिए. पेज नंबर इट्स 7.13 एंड 7.14 में कुछ कंटेंट आपको दिया हुआ है. रीड आउट दैट कंटेंट फर्स्ट. आई एम गिविंग कंप्लीट 5 मिनट्स not only for reading but also for the interpretation of customer profitability statement. Once your reading from the study material is over, then we will move towards the practical question of customer profitability analysis. Okay, chalo. Many new points have been given beta in this study material pages 13 and 14. That's why I am giving the opportunity to you to read out the content. Such as in the last para, there is a difference in the location of the customer. There are some customers who are placing the rush order that will also hamper the profitability earned from a particular customer. So please read it out very carefully, Bitana. It's very informative language used in page number 13 and 14 of the study material. Okay, Shivendra, just wait a minute, beta. Then we will start the practical portion of customer profitability statement. Okay, Seema Suresh, beta. Yes, definitely. You are linking this subject to the real life. That's very good, beta. Very good. Keep it up. चलिए बेटा स्टार्ट करें अब इसके प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन. ओके, आई एम स्टार्टिंग विथ इलस्ट्रेशन नंबर 3 अवेलेबल इन पेज नंबर 14. Available in page number 14. So let's start beta. Illustration number 3. We are reading this question combinedly, but as usual, the first time will be given to you to solve this question on your own. And once your efforts are over, then we will discuss it combinedly through writing. Okay, chaliye beta. Padhiye. A and B are two customers of XYZ Electronic Limited, a manufacturer of audio players. So definitely customer profitability statement will be prepared for A and B when both the customer are purchasing the same product. Customer A is also purchasing audio player. Customer B is also purchasing the audio player. Selling price per unit is 5,400 rupees. So the selling price to customer A or customer B is 5,400 rupees. Its cost of production per unit is 4,420. कि कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन कस्टमर ए के लिए है या कस्टमर बी के लिए बेटा. 4,420. इट्स नॉट मेंशन एनीवेयर whether the cost of production 4,420 if related with customer A or if related with customer B. किसके लिए है बेटा? Yes, it is for both the customer because both the customer are purchasing the same product, that is the audio player. So definitely the production cost will remain same, no doubt about that. है ना? आगे additional cost are order processing cost दिया है ₹2,000 per order, delivery cost दिया है ₹3,500 per delivery. Now, please listen very, very carefully, beta. There are two selling and distribution activities. The first selling and distribution activity is order processing. The second one is delivery. For order processing, the cost driver is number of order processed. For delivery, the cost driver, that is the logical base, is number of delivery. Now tell me, beta, whether this 2000 and 3500 is the cost pull or ABC recovery rate. What do you say? Whether this 2000 rupee or 3500 rupee is the cost pull of these two activities, or they are the ABC recovery rate. बोलिए बेटा, जल्दी बताइए मुझे आप. No, beta, it's not the cost pull, it's the ABC recovery rate. Cost pull ये तब होता जब सिर्फ 2000 रुपी दिया होता, आगे हमें बेस नहीं दिया होता पर ऑर्डर. 2000 rupees cost pull when no base is further given, but 2000 per order means it's the recovery rate. हर order processing के हमें 2000 रुपी recover करना है. So they have directly given us the ABC recovery rate. We do not have to calculate the one. Okay. Details of customer A and B for the period are given below. How many units has been purchased by customer A? 350. How many units has been purchased by customer B? Find it. Gone are the days when we only focus on those customers which are providing higher amount of volume. Nowadays we are considering, okay, they are providing higher volume, might be they are also consuming higher amount of selling and distribution over it. So we want to check it to the minute detail whether each and every customer is contributing to our profit or not. Whether they are eroding our profit by taking more and more services of selling and distribution. Okay. Number of orders. In each, there are 5 number of order, and each order consists of 70 units. So 70 into 5, 350. Here 50 units has been ordered in a single one, and there are 10 order, that is 500. Number of delivery 5 and 0. Why 0? Please wait. The detail will be provided by the question. The company policy is to give a discount of 5% on the selling price on order for 50 units or more, and to further give 8% discount on the undiscounted selling price if a customer uses his own transport to collect the order. So there is a quantity discount available to the customer. Along with that, there is a transport discount available to the customer. If the customer uses his own transport, we will provide further 8% discount. Assume that production level are not altered by this order. Required, analyze the profitability by comparing the profit per unit for each customer. Can you please tell me, beta, I have told you multiple times, what do you mean by the verb analyze? Please communicate me the meaning of the verb analyze. I have communicated to you multiple times in the previous session. ओके, वेरी गुड गीता पटेल बेटा, बिल्कुल सही है. फर्स्ट वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट and then we have to explain in our own word. So analysis means first of all calculation is to be done, and that calculation we have to express in our own words. Okay, so I'm giving you time beta, a complete 5 minutes to provide me the answer, profit per unit for each customer. Okay, today's the break will be after beta, I think 7:50 है ना. It will require minimum 15 to 20 minutes more to complete this question. Once this question is completed, I will provide you the break. So I'm giving you beta 5 to 6 minutes to provide me the answer. What is the profit per unit? And don't calculate just in calculator. I require the calculation on a rough page beta ना. Properly करे. Calculation करने के बाद आप explanation सोचिए. What you will write to explain those calculations. Okay. I'm giving you complete 5 to 6 minutes of time. Okay beta, so let's start. So majority of the student have given me the correct answer. Majority क्यों यार, all of the student have given me the correct answer that profit per unit is 631 and the profit per unit is 238. So it's not necessary that the customer who is taking the highest unit is providing also the highest profitability. Gone are the days when this rule happen. Nowadays, if the customer is taking less services of selling and distribution, then that customer is more profitable to us. So if there is any opportunity to sell more, we will target those customers who are taking less amount of services and therefore providing us the highest amount of profit. So ये अब जो भी आपने कैलकुलेशन किया है, now you have to analyze the same. मतलब अब आपको उसको एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ेगा that both the customers are getting the 5% quantity discount because the order size of both the customer is 50 units for above, while customer B is also getting the additional 8% discount on the undiscounted selling price. This is very, very important. Undiscounted selling price means 5,400 because customer B is using its own transport to take the delivery. He is not using our transport, है ना? तो इस प्रकार से आप पूरा एक्सप्लेन कर देंगे. Now this is very, very important. Comment on the discount policy on delivery. अब आपको जो डिस्काउंट पॉलिसी है उस पे कमेंट करना है. Can you please provide me the comment on the 5% discount policy? 5% discount policy पर what comment you will do? Mind it, my dear student, there will be no comment whatsoever on the 5% discount policy. Why? Please read out the requirement part very carefully. They have clearly indicated that we have to provide comment on the discount policy of delivery. They have not required us to comment on the discount policy. They have required to comment on the discount policy of delivery only. तो देखिए कैसे क्या इसका सबसे पहले आपको एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा. If customer takes the delivery from us, for each delivery it will cost us 3,500 रुपी हर डिलीवरी के, एंड हर डिलीवरी में कितनी यूनिट वो हमसे लेता है? 50 यूनिट. सो ऑन पर यूनिट बेसिस ये पर डिलीवरी हो गया, और इसको अगर हम कन्वर्ट करें पर यूनिट में 3,500 डिवाइडेड बाय 50 इट विल बी 70 रुपी पर यूनिट. एंड 70 रुपी पर यूनिट को सेव करने के लिए वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग हिम 5,400 into 8%. What is the amount? 5,400 into 8%. We are providing a discount of 432 per unit since customer B is not taking the delivery, while the amount saved from the customer is just 70 rupee per unit, which is not at all justifiable. तो हम यहाँ पे लिखेंगे बेटा, if the delivery is made to customer B, it will cost us rupee 3,500 per delivery. Okay. On unit basis, it will cost us 70 rupee per unit. While since customer B is not taking the delivery, we are providing him a discount of 432 rupee. In other words, we are avoiding inflow of rupee 432 to avoid outflow of rupee 70, which is, ये समझ में आया बेटा, inflow avoid कर रहे 432 का to avoid outflow of rupee 70 per unit, which is not justifiable. So यहाँ पे एक और पॉइंट हम लिखेंगे. So if the customer insists for its own delivery, can you please tell me beta what is the maximum percentage of discount that can be offered to customer B if he still wants to take goods on his own, है ना? अगर वो नहीं चाहता अभी भी हमसे डिलीवरी लेना, तो what should be the maximum discount percentage? Please communicate to me beta. यस बेटा, सीमा सुरेश बिल्कुल करेक्ट आंसर है बेटा, बिल्कुल करेक्ट लॉजिकल आंसर है. Please communicate what is the maximum percentage of discount that can be offered to customer B if still customer B insists for not to take delivery. गीता पटेल बेटा, हमने ये बोला है कि 432 रुपी का वी आर अवॉइडिंग द इनफ्लो, हम इनफ्लो अवॉइड कर रहे हैं, डिस्काउंट दे रहे हैं मतलब हम अपना रेवेन्यू अवॉइड कर रहे हैं। 432 का रेवेन्यू अवॉइड करके हमें बेनिफिट कितना हो रहा है? जस्ट 70 रुपी। 3500 डिवाइडेड बाय 50 यूनिट, 70 यूनिट का हमें बेनिफिट हो रहा है, विच इज नॉट जस्टिफिएबल ऑन फाइनेंशियल ग्राउंड, है ना। फिर मैंने पूछा था आपसे, ज्यादा से ज्यादा हम कितना डिस्काउंट दे सकते हैं? What amount we are saving? 70 rupee. At what sale price? 5400 rupee. So 70 divided by 5400, approximately it's 1.3%. This is the maximum discount we can offer to customer B. Beyond this, we cannot offer because it will result in financial loss to the company. Simple for logic है, whatever amount we are saving, we can pass on such amount to our customer, not more than that, है ना। So this question beta is comparatively simple regarding the analysis part. Now after the break, whatever question we will start related to customer profitability statement, if the question has been asked for say 10 marks, 3 marks will be related to the calculation, while 7 marks are related to the interpretation explanation. So next question are very important. They are given at the end of the chapter from the analysis, from the interpretation viewpoint. This question is comparatively simple from the viewpoint of the comment or the analysis purpose. The remaining 2 or 3 questions which we will study after the break are the superb questions which are not the calculation based, but which are more based on how you interpret the data. That is mostly required by such type of question. And this chapter, this particular topic has also been asked in the examination, I think twice. If I'm not wrong, this concept has been asked twice in the examination since May 2018. है ना? Break के बाद we are starting a very important topic of this customer profitability statement, how to analyze the different customer profitability, है ना। यहाँ पे तो बहुत सिंपल था, सिंपली आपको कमेंट करना था डिस्काउंट पॉलिसी ऑन डिलीवरी। ओके, let's take a break beta. It's 19:45 right now. We will meet sharp again at 8 p.m. है ना। 8 o'clock को वापस मिलते हैं बेटा अपन। Okay, beta. So let's start a new question. Please open page number 38 of the study material. Page number 38 of the study material. We are not solving this question for numerical part. We are solving this question for the analysis part. है ना? बहुत अच्छा analysis part इसका दिया हुआ है. And the same level, more or less same level is expected by the ICI whenever a similar question appears in your examination. है ना? So आइए बेटा page number 38, illustration number 5. Page number 38, illustration number 5. Can we start बेटा? चलिए देखिए. ANCA Limited has decided to analyze the profitability of its 4 retail customers. So the name of the client is ANCA Limited. It wants to analyze the profitability of 4 retail customers. All the customer buys product BioAqua at 200 per case. Per case is per unit. The denomination in which the product is being sold is known as case. 218 per case. And sell them at list price less discount. तो हम ये प्रोडक्ट बाय करते हैं 218 में और इसको हम सेल करते हैं लिस्ट प्राइस लेस डिस्काउंट. द डेटा पर्टेनिंग टू 4 कस्टमर्स आर नंबर ऑफ केसेस सोल्ड मींस नंबर ऑफ यूनिट सोल्ड, लिस्ट सेलिंग प्राइस दिया है, एक्चुअल सेलिंग प्राइस दिया है. द डिफरेंस बिटवीन लिस्ट सेलिंग प्राइस एंड एक्चुअल सेलिंग प्राइस इज नोन एज डिस्काउंट. Number of sales visit is given, number of purchase orders are given, number of delivery kilometers are given, and we have been given 4 sales activity. In fact, there are 5 sales activity. There are 4 sales activity इन्होंने दिया है. Actually 5 है. ये जो 4 दिख रही है ये तो है. And the 5th one is the discount element. And the 5th one is the discount element. So the cost driver rate is ready-madely given to you. That for sales visit it's 750 per sales visit. Order taking it's 800 per purchase order. For deliveries it's 10.5. For product handling cost it's 2.5. So एक काम करे बेटा, without wasting any time, आपको पहला requirement part भी वही बोला है, compute word बोला है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ calculation required है in the first requirement part. And trust me बेटा, if this question comes asked for 10 marks, hardly there will be 3 to 4 marks in requirement part number 1. The second requirement, that is to analyze the profitability for each and every customer, carries much more marks as compared to the computation part. So jaldi se I am giving you a bit of 5 to 6 minutes of time. Please provide me the answer of total profitability of each customer along with the profitability per unit from each customer. दोनों calculation मुझे आप दीजिए and then we will start how to analyze the profit for each customer for a requirement part which consists of 5 to 7 marks. ठीक है, चलिए बेटा समय दे रहा हूं मैं आपको. जल्दी से मुझे इस क्वेश्चन में आप मुझे कस्टमर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इन टोटल और पर यूनिट निकाल के बताइए. A maximum of 5 minutes I am providing to you, beta. Now, so please do calculation on a fast basis so that we can provide more and more time on the analysis part. Please provide the total profit and the profit per unit both. Okay. Based on that, we will start the analysis. Please provide me the answer, beta. Total profitability of each customer and the profit per unit. विपिन शर्मा, नमस्ते बेटा। चलिए, फातिमा ने आंसर दिया है टोटल प्रॉफिट का, ज्योति ने प्रॉफिट दिया है, आंसर दिया है टोटल प्रॉफिट का। ओके बेटा, अदर स्टूडेंट प्लीज कम्युनिकेट फास्ट एंड डोंट फॉरगेट to deduct the purchase cost 218 rupee per case that is available in the very first para. That is a very common mistake in this question, that you consider all the selling and distribution overhead while ignored the purchase cost of 218 that is given on the second line of the question. Please ईमानदारी से बेटा बताइए, how many students have forget to deduct 218 per case from the profit element? ईमानदारी से ना, with full genuineness, please communicate how many students forget to deduct 218 rupee per case purchase cost. चलिए बेटा जल्दी बताइए, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट मुझे लगता है कि गलती कर चुके होंगे कि दे हैव नॉट डिडक्टेड द परचेज कॉस्ट. Oh, Fatima, okay, great beta, because the answer when I see now that 18,25,475, I understood that this mistake has been committed by the student, that they forget to deduct the purchase cost, that is 218, है ना. Last 1 or 2 minutes I am providing you beta to rectify your answer, then we will start the most important part, that is the analysis part, है ना. 1 या 2 मिनट अभी आपके पास और है, जल्दी से इत्मीनान से आप अपना आंसर करेक्ट कर लीजिए, देन वी विल प्रोसीड टुवर्ड्स द एनालिसिस पार्ट. The correct answer would be beta 1,68,670 rupee for customer A, and the profit per unit will be 25.25, है ना. If the first one is right, then definitely you have applied the correct methodology. Okay, very good Seema beta, continue, keep it up, the good thing. Only 3 students have given me the answer, Fatima, Jyoti and Seema Suresh. What about other students? Shijesh, Aniket, Rashmi, Geeta Patel. Divedi, Shrivani, Sandhya, Vida, Jaya Chandran, whether you have completed the same? Can we proceed further? Because unless and until the data is with you, beta, we cannot analyze the same. Okay, Shijesh completed. Very good, beta. ओके, कैन आई स्टार्ट द एनालिसिस पार्ट? बेटा देखिए, बहुत अच्छे से इन्होंने एनालाइज किया है. वी डोंट हैव टू जस्ट रीड आउट द आंसर, वी हैव टू learn the art of writing. That's the most important learning from this analysis part. So please listen very carefully, beta. We are reading the answer solution part available in page number 51. Please open page number 51, beta, and see the length of the answer. They have given almost the answer in 2 printed pages. When you write such answer in your examination copy, it will definitely extend to 4 to 5 pages. But for 5 to 6 mark question, beta, examination 2 or and 2.5 pages are more than enough. I already told you, whenever there is a suggested answer by the ICI, they are covering each and every angle answer in the suggested model. So each and every viewpoint has been considered. Even if you consider 60-70% viewpoint in the examination, you are eligible for full mark, because such length answer cannot be expected from a student in the examination, and that too for 6 to 7 mark रिक्वायरमेंट है ना. सो बहुत कंटेंट दिया है ताकि आप बहुत कंफर्टेबल रहे, सभी पॉइंट यहाँ पे कवर हो जाए, सो दैट यू कैन बी वेरी कंफर्टेबल इन द एग्जामिनेशन. चलिए अब पढ़ते हैं और सीखते हैं हाउ टू एनालाइज द प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी कस्टमर. गोइंग बाय द वॉल्यूम ऑफ केसेस सोल्ड. सबसे पहले टारगेट कर रहे हैं वॉल्यूम को. आप अगर वॉल्यूम में देखेंगे बेटा, तो वॉल्यूम में सबसे ज्यादा कस्टमर फी का वॉल्यूम है. कस्टमर फी हैव परचेज 78,520. अब ध्यान दीजिएगा, अब इन्होंने क्या किया होगा, इन्होंने चारों यूनिट फोल्ड का टोटल लगाया होगा एंड उस टोटल को फिर इंडिविजुअल परसेंटेज टर्म्स में एक्सप्रेस करा होगा टू गिव बेटर एनालिसिस ऑफ प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी. जरा चेक करें. गोइंग बाय द वॉल्यूम ऑफ केसेस सोल्ड, कस्टमर फी इज द बिगेस्ट कस्टमर. ध्यान दीजिए, इन्होंने यूनिट्स में नहीं बोला, दे हैव कन्वर्टेड इट इनटू द प्रॉफिट 56%. चलिए टोटल लगाइए पहले बेटा, कितनी यूनिट फोल्ड है, कैलकुलेट. 7580, आप भी मेरे साथ में कैलकुलेट कीजिए, प्लस 38,350, 78,520 एंड 15,560. So the total units are 1,40,010 units. अब अपन परसेंटेज भी लेना चाहते हैं. For customer fee is the highest volume customer, 78,520 divided by 1,40,000 करेंगे तो it will be 56%, है ना. फिर हम बताएंगे कस्टमर बी का रेशियो कितना है, फिर कस्टमर डी का रेशियो कितना है, एंड लास्टली कस्टमर ए का रेशियो कितना है. तो क्या सीखा एनालिसिस बेटा? सबसे पहला पॉइंट हम ये बताएंगे, वॉल्यूम वाइज कौन हमारा हाईएस्ट प्रोवाइडिंग कस्टमर है इन परसेंटेज. प्लीज राइट डाउन बेटा इन योर कॉपी. हाउ टू एनालाइज सीपीएस. पहला लिखिए, हाउ टू एनालाइज द सीपीएस. लिखिए पॉइंट नंबर 1, वॉल्यूम वाइज convert the total units sold to each customer. Convert the total units sold to each customer in percentage terms, and then identify the customer from highest volume to lowest volume, and then identify the customer from highest volume to lowest volume. ओके बेटा, अब ध्यान दीजिएगा, अब दूसरा क्वेश्चन भी आएगा ना, यू आर हैविंग द बेस कि यार जब भी हमें एनालिसिस करना होगा फॉर 7 to 8 मार्क्स, आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू बेटा, इन एग्जामिनेशन पेज 2.5 पेजेस इज मोर देन इनफ फॉर 6 to 7 मार्क्स रिक्वायरमेंट पार्ट. इन रजिस्टर की अगर अपन बात करेंगे तो 1.5 पेजेस ऑफ योर रजिस्टर इज मोर देन इनफ फॉर 7 मार्क्स रिक्वायरमेंट पार्ट. Not more than that should be written in the examination बेटा, क्योंकि एक क्वेश्चन में आप अननेसेसरी टाइम देंगे, यू कैन नॉट प्रोवाइड जस्टिस टू द रिमेनिंग क्वेश्चन, है ना. अब देखिए उसी को उन्होंने आगे कैसे बढ़ाया, अब उन्होंने प्रॉफिट पर टर्म पर कस्टमर निकाला है, उसके आधार पे उन्होंने बताया कि कस्टमर कौन सा ज्यादा प्रॉफिटेबल है. लिखिए सेकेंड पॉइंट बेटा, पहले देखिए ये सभी प्रॉफिट का इन्होंने टोटल लगा लिया और फिर उस टोटल प्रॉफिट से सभी कस्टमर का इंडिविजुअल प्रॉफिट निकाल लिया. सेकेंड पॉइंट लिखे, टोटल प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी. टोटल प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी, कंप्यूट द प्रॉफिट अर्न फ्रॉम ईच कस्टमर, compute the profit earned from each customer on percentage basis, and then communicate customer providing highest profit to lowest profit. Customers providing highest profit to the lowest profit. अब बताओ नॉर्मली क्या ये सर्च करेंगे बेटा, दे विल फाइंड आउट दैट कस्टमर विच आर हाईएस्ट प्रोवाइडिंग कस्टमर, हाईएस्ट वॉल्यूम प्रोवाइडिंग कस्टमर, बट नॉट द हाईएस्ट प्रॉफिट प्रोवाइडर. अब ऐसा कस्टमर, जैसे इस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन में कस्टमर सी इज द हाईएस्ट प्रोवाइडिंग वॉल्यूम कस्टमर, बट कस्टमर बी इज द हाईएस्ट प्रॉफिट प्रोवाइडर. सो नाउ दे विल एनालाइज व्हाई कस्टमर सी, despite of providing the highest volume, why the customer C is not providing us the highest profit. They are providing the reason in the form of discount. ये देखिए डिस्काउंट एक बहुत बड़ा रीजन है इसका, है ना. तो लिखिए बेटा थर्ड पॉइंट, नाउ चेक whether the highest volume customer, now check whether the highest volume customer is the highest profit contributor or not. फुल स्टॉप. नेक्स्ट लाइन में लिखे, इफ नो, identify the reason, identify the reason, full stop. The probable reason will be the discount, and we have to check, whether the higher discount is justified or not. Whether the higher discount is justified or not. अब देखिए बेटा, मैं आपको 2 मिनट का समय देता हूं. इन्होंने यहां से स्टार्ट किया है पूरा समझाना कि कस्टमर सी हाईएस्ट वॉल्यूम होने के बाद भी व्हाई इट इज नॉट द हाईएस्ट प्रॉफिट कंट्रीब्यूटर, यहां तक, है ना। एक बार आप इसको रीड आउट कर लीजिए 2 मिनट्स में। ऑलरेडी वी हैव रिटन द क्रक्स कि अगले क्वेश्चन में आपके पास एक फॉर्मेट अवेलेबल होना चाहिए जिसके आधार पे आप अपने आप को एक्सप्लेन कर पाए, है ना। वी हैव रिटन दैट पॉइंट। अब इस क्वेश्चन स्पेसिफिक पढ़ लीजिए, फिर अपन मुड़ेंगे वो कस्टमर जो हमारे लिए लीस्ट प्रॉफिटेबल है, हम उस कस्टमर की बात करेंगे फिर, है ना। फॉर 2 मिनट्स आर अवेलेबल विथ यू टू रीड आउट द कंटेंट फ्रॉम कंपेयरिंग कस्टमर बी एंड सी till not to lose customer C to competitor. ओके बेटा, पढ़ लिया। नाउ वी विल टारगेट द लीस्ट प्रॉफिटेबल कस्टमर। अगर आप इन तीनों में सबसे कम प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी देखेंगे तो सबसे कम प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी हमारे कस्टमर डी की है, कंट्रीब्यूटिंग ओनली 10.37 डिस्पाइट नॉट द लोएस्ट वॉल्यूम प्रोवाइडर। लोएस्ट वॉल्यूम प्रोवाइडर कस्टमर ए है, कस्टमर डी इज द थर्ड लार्जेस्ट वॉल्यूम प्रोवाइडर, बट फ्रॉम प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी व्यू पॉइंट it is the lowest profitable customer. Now we will analyze the lowest profitable customer. लिखिए बेटा point number 4. Now we will analyze the lowest profitable customer. है ना। अब लिखिए बेटा, give the profitability on percentage terms. Give the profitability on percentage terms, and also volume from that customer on percentage terms. जैसे इन्होंने दिया है बेटा, ये हमें 10.37 प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी में कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है, जबकि 11% हमें वॉल्यूम में कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है। Write down point number 5. Reasons to be provided. Write down point number 5. Reasons to be provided for customer identified in point number 4. Reasons to be provided for customer identified in point number 4. That is, the lowest profitability customer. That is the lowest profitability customer. ठीक है बेटा, सबसे पहला एलिमेंट लिखे आप इसमें, फिफ्थ पॉइंट में पॉइंट नंबर ए लिखे डिस्काउंट. The common reason of lower profitability will be the common reason for lower profitability would be इन्वर्टेड कॉमा में हायर डिस्काउंट ऑफर्ड. हायर डिस्काउंट ऑफर्ड. अब एक बहुत ही अच्छा पॉइंट दिया है बेटा, ध्यान से सुनिएगा बेटा. इस कस्टमर को हम 18 रुपी पर केस का डिस्काउंट दे रहे हैं, जिसके कारण इससे हमें कंट्रीब्यूशन 14 रुपी मिल रहा है, जबकि कस्टमर ए जो लोएस्ट वॉल्यूम कस्टमर है उससे भी हमें 27 रुपी मिल रहा है, और जो कस्टमर बी सेकेंड वॉल्यूम प्रोवाइडर है उससे हमें 18 मिल रहा है. तो इसका कंट्रीब्यूशन कंपैरेटिवली कम है टुवर्ड्स द सेकेंड एंड द फोर्थ वॉल्यूम प्रोवाइडर. So we have to negotiate the discount policy. और एक बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट दिया है, why we are giving such a high discount to such category of customer. The reason might be, हो सकता है, this is the customer, ये देखिए पढ़िए यहाँ पे, justified where customer D supplies the product that is manufactured at a discounted rate to the system concern of the company. हो सकता है एक contractual arrangement हुआ हो कि that the customer is also manufacturer, the output of customer is required by our sister concern, and so he is offering 10% discount, suppose 7.2% discount. So in return we have also to offer 7.2% discount. If this is the case, then definitely the discount cannot be renegotiated. If this is not the case, then definitely the customer discount should be renegotiated. लिखिए बेटा उसमें ए पॉइंट में कंटिन्यू करिए. Reason of higher discount might be the customer is also the supplier of raw material to our sister concern, comma, thus a contractual agreement will be there regarding the discount. Thus a contractual agreement will be there regarding the discount. अब लिखिए पॉइंट नंबर बी. फिफ्थ पॉइंट ही चल रहा है बेटा. फिफ्थ पॉइंट में पॉइंट नंबर ए हो चुका है. राइट डाउन पॉइंट नंबर बी आफ्टर ड्रॉपिंग वन लाइन. नंबर ऑफ सेल्स विजिट. अब यहां पे पूरा रीजन आपको दिया हुआ है बेटा पॉइंट नंबर बी में. एक बार आप अपने लेवल पे इसको रीड आउट करें. इंटरप्रिटेशन चाहिए मुझे ना, हमें सीखना है, हमें सिर्फ आंसर को समझना नहीं है. वी डोंट हैव टू जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड द आंसर, नो, वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द आर्ट ऑफ राइटिंग. कि अगर सिमिलर क्वेश्चन एग्जामिनेशन में आता है तो ऑलरेडी वी शुड हैव अ फॉर्मेट इन माइंड दैट व्हाट वी शुड राइट इन द एग्जामिनेशन. We are preparing ourselves for a 10-mark requirement part of analysis. If the requirement part consists of less number, definitely we will write the answer in short. But we are preparing ourselves for a 10-mark requirement part, which require us to analyze the profitability of each and every customer. So read out, not just to understand the answer, read out to understand the art of writing, how we will write in examination regarding the point number of sales figure. I am giving 2 minutes of time to you, beta. And trust me, beta, this technique is very, very important. You will appreciate this technique when you appear for examination and your paper went well. है ना, because this is the technique through which you can make yourself an independent student that is ready to face the examination with full confidence. Okay beta, have you read out this point? So लिखिए बेटा, reason for high sales visit, reason for high sales visit, customization of the product, customization of customer product might require more sales visit. Customization of customer product will require more sales visit. है ना, फिर एक और पॉइंट आप पढ़िए बेटा रिगार्डिंग, अब लिखिए सी पॉइंट, फिफ्थ पॉइंट ही चल रहा है, उसमें ए पॉइंट हो गया हमारा डिस्काउंट एलिमेंट, बी पॉइंट हो गया सेल्स विजिट, नाउ राइट डाउन सी पॉइंट, नंबर ऑफ ऑर्डर्स, नंबर ऑफ ऑर्डर्स, है ना। फिर से मैं आपको समय देता हूं बेटा 2 मिनट्स का, रीड आउट दिस एंड आइडेंटिफाई व्हाट शुड बी द फॉर्मेट टू राइट टू एनालाइज द क्वेश्चन वेन एवर इट कम्स इन योर एग्जामिनेशन पेपर। क्या वो पॉइंट दे रहे हैं, कैसे वो एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, क्या वो लॉजिक दे रहे हैं नंबर ऑफ ऑर्डर्स ज्यादा होने का, उसका लॉजिक आप आइडेंटिफाई कीजिए। चलिए बेटा, क्या रीजन इन्होंने दिया है? माइट बी द इंक्रीज इन नंबर ऑफ ऑर्डर will be because of our customer has already implemented the just-in-time system. If our customer has implemented just-in-time system, then as a supplier, we have to provide them, the customer, the orders in a number of smaller lot, so that whenever order is required, whenever quantity is required, whatever quantity is required by our customer, we have to supply that on time. So definitely, if our customer has applied the just-in-time system, although the annual volume will be high, but the order size will be small, because JIT demand only those quantity to be ordered which are required at that particular point of time. तो लिखिए बेटा, पॉइंट नंबर सी आपने डाला है नंबर ऑफ ऑर्डर्स का, इसमें लिखिए रीजन फॉर हायर नंबर ऑफ ऑर्डर्स being our customer has implemented just-in-time system which demands us for frequent number of orders that have been placed, but in small quantity, but consisting of smaller units, but consisting of low quantity, but consisting of low quantity. Full stop. If such is the if this is the case, we can charge a higher selling price. We can charge a higher selling price. ठीक है बेटा, अब मैं आपको एक होमवर्क देता हूं बेटा, पेज नंबर 53 में और भी जो भी कंटेंट आपको दिया है पेज नंबर 53 में, एक बार आप उसको अपने लेवल पर रीड आउट करेंगे, और जो जो कीवर्ड्स आपको लगते हैं वो कीवर्ड्स आप पॉइंट नंबर 6, पॉइंट नंबर 7 करके लिख के आएंगे। ठीक है बेटा, तो चलिए आज का सेशन अपन यहीं पे एंड करते हैं बेटा। इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन वी विल सॉल्व 2 or 3 more questions on customer profitability statement. Along with that, we will start a related topic known as direct product profitability in the next session, beta, है ना? चलिए, till then, beta, take care. Please take care of yourself. God bless you all. Thank you, beta. Deepak bhai, please end the session.